What's up guys, GT here. So as most of you might already know, back when I was in India, I was one of the founding members of this Hindi rock act called as Antariksh. Basically, we had a lot of fun, played a lot of gigs, and we even had an album to our name called Coach. I'll link everything related to Antariksh down in the description box below. Make sure you check out the music, super fun stuff, and I'll sure you like it. Fast forward to today, I have moved to Australia as you all know, but I do manage to travel to India almost every year to catch up with friends and family, and I always make sure that I find some time to catch up with Varun, who's been spearheading the entire Antariksh initiative, and he's been doing a fantastic job at it. We would sit down every year, we would talk about things that happened with the band, have a lot of fun, jam a little, and also have a little bit of laughs here and there, remembering the older times. Since this year I'm not traveling to India as such, I thought it would be a great idea to catch up with Varun over a video call. I've been reading all great things about Antariksh in all my feeds across all social platforms over the year, and it's a really exciting time for the band. I couldn't be more proud of Varun and the team, what they're doing. I thought it would be a great idea to have a connect with him over a video call, and why not bring you guys along for the ride. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit down, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Cheers. Yo, Varun, what's up? How is it going?
Yo, man, so good to see you. All good, all good.
Always good to see you, man. We usually do this in person, but this year I'm here and you're there.
Right.
And yeah, I've been seeing everything fantastic about Antariksh popping up in the news feeds all throughout the year.
Thank you, man.
It's been a fantastic year for you, for the band. I'm so happy, so proud of you guys. That's awesome, man. And all kudos to you. You've been doing this pretty much solo now, I guess. And you've been taking up the singing as well alongside in the band. That's a lot of effort, man. Hats off to you. Well done.
Thank you. I mean, we started it together, so
I know. I was just thinking about when I was checking out the new single, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I was thinking about from where all we started and what the theme of the band was initially, and how you've evolved it to a much more wider spectrum of audience now. And it's fascinating to see the band's journey, and just to keep it going, I think it takes a lot of effort, right? So yeah, good job, great job.
Thank
you.
So
yeah, let's talk about the whole year like we always do. I mean, whenever I catch up with you, we usually start from what's been happening in the scene. So tell me, I saw some news about Antariksh traveling to US, and I saw some pics and clips from the US tour as well. I'll put some up here as well. How did the whole thing happen, man? How was it?
I guess, we've been just very fortunate, and so we've been trying to work this out since a very long time. And, then in July, I got a call, and this like fantastic opportunity came our way, which was obviously something that we wanted to grab and just, go ahead with it.
I know.
It's always been like a dream, not just touring US, but the entire world. And hopefully that'll happen someday, like we do bigger tours as well. But it was fantastic, man. We were not sure that what kind of an audience would be fine there, whether, because primarily we sing in Hindi. And but there's like a huge Indian diaspora in all the cities we ended up playing in. So it was fantastic to see so many of those people turn up, and we've been writing a lot of new stuff, and it almost like felt the perfect place to road test it.
Yeah. I know back when we were together, I think we were always hunting for that one international gig, and I think we almost landed one, but then it got cancelled for some reason or whatever.
Yeah, Maldives. Maldives.
Yeah, Maldives perhaps. Yeah, yes. It was around for some event, I remember, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, it's so fantastic to see that out of all the countries, you went to US straight, and I believe you hit like 3 cities, right?
We were supposed to do 5 actually, but we ended up doing only 3. Because we were supposed to do Seattle, Houston, Dallas, Austin, and then Vancouver in Canada.
Nice, Canada as well.
Yeah, man, we had 3 shows confirmed in Canada, but unfortunately we just didn't get a long enough window to apply for the Canadian visa. So it was all happening almost in real time, right at the last bits. We literally got our passports back 3 days, 4 days before the tour. So it was a lot of action. And
Yeah.
so we were supposed to do like 12, no, 11 gigs, but
Oh,
only like 6 of them ended up happening, which is fantastic as well. But yeah, and I was like, so I'd been to Seattle just a month prior to the tour, so I knew what we were
nice.
expecting. And it's one of, like, I guess now my favorite cities in the US. But
Yeah,
I
I've got a
didn't.
couple of friends there. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Right. I didn't know what to expect in Houston and Dallas and Austin. Austin also, I'd heard great things, but unfortunately that gig got cancelled. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I think we ended up playing to a total of I guess about 15,000 people, including all the cities, which was pretty massive. I guess we've shot a lot of videos. We've recorded the
Yeah,
sets, so I'm actually very excited to put out a lot of live versions from the tour. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember when we used to gig mostly in India. I think back in the day when the scene was very different from what it is now. I'm pretty sure, and scene has evolved now. But I think we used to always have a good blend of covers and then the original stuff as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I remember we were working on our album called Coach. Links in the description, by the way, guys. So at that time we had to have a fair mix of proper Bollywood or indie pop sort of covers as well, which used to be a very good opportunity for the people to connect. So
Right.
in your sets in the US, is it still the same? You have to blend in some covers as well, or is mostly original
Oh,
music?
100%. I mean, we honestly haven't reached that point where we can, just play an all-out original set, and I wish we get there sooner. But we do
Yeah,
like, mix in those covers because, so here we were especially playing for the Indian diaspora. So playing like a bunch of those covers in our own style,
yeah,
definitely got people going a lot. And
that's
I
that's
guess,
good to hear. Yeah.
yeah, I'm being in India, the way scene has evolved here is that I remember, like when we started the band, uh, there was barely like, any bands doing this kind of stuff in Hindi. They were, you know, like playing in Hindi was almost looked down upon. If you go back to the
Exactly,
era that you
exactly.
were playing with Prastorica, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we've come a long, long way from there. And I like had the opportunity to see the scene evolve so much. And
Yeah.
the the best part is that it's grown in all directions. So I feel that 15 years ago there were barely any opportunities to be a full-time musician here, but now there are. I mean, you could be in a lot of cover bands and you could like do really well for yourself. There are also bands like Bloody Wood, Local Train, When
Yeah.
Chai Met Toast, Pratik Kuhad, and all these guys. They've managed to build massive audiences on their original music. So that's also happening, right? You see that there are a lot of these artists who've paved the way for a lot more people to do, follow those paths and develop audiences for their original music. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's so cool, right? Like it's the entire pie has grown so much that there is like so much more opportunity for all musicians. And
I think it's like a dream come true, right? Back when we were playing, I think we all had to have like side jobs which support the
yeah,
household, and then gigging and doing bands was like a
yeah.
secondary hobby. But I'm so glad to see that there's a paradigm shift now. People are taking music more seriously, and just speaking of Bloodywood, Bloodywood is probably one of the most toured bands right now in India. I
Yeah.
think they're touring everywhere, all the festivals. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of music, but anyways, I remember we attended one Bloodywood concert back in Delhi when I was
Oh
there
yeah.
last time, along with
Mhm.
Guthrie Gowan. I think Guthrie was also there. But yeah, I think the scene changing helps a lot for the musicians to kind of you know keep up the work, keep producing new stuff. And I know you guys have been mostly doing singles throughout the last couple of years, but I know last time I met you, you had like plans of coming up with a full blown album, and you played me some stuff as well, most of which I don't remember now. But yeah, it was
That's good.
it was very good to hear that it's kind of leaning towards more of that edgy kind of proggy rock side that we had initially thought of the band to be as well. But at the same time, you have to find that right balance of appealing to the masses, having crowd pleasers at the same time, blending into the commercial scene, because even the movies now are catching up with Bollywood movies are catching up with rock style of tunes. Guitars and drums are prevalent almost everywhere now.
Right.
So I think, speaking of that, let's just quickly talk about the new single that you guys come out with, Sabki Kahani. First of all, fantastic track, man. I really enjoyed it. खाली 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 कर दे सपनों की गुल्लक को ओ मेरे यार थम जा जरा यूं ना जीले जरा सबकी ही तो यही कहानी है आज रात the video is the icing on the cake. We'll talk about the video in a bit, but I think the track itself is super relatable, if I were to find the better word for it. I think everybody who's been through the industry in India, not just music, but otherwise in IT or working, I think you can connect to that track really well. So that's the emotion that I got out of it. Why don't you tell me what was the story behind that track? How did it all happen?
I mean, as I mentioned, last year we started writing a lot of music. And, one weird day, I was just sitting on my couch and kind of doing a bit of an identity analysis. That is something I do every 3-4 years, trying to figure out that, who am I? What kind of, career path am I on? What do I want to do? What is Antariksh? Where does all of this lead? I mean, what exactly is happening, right? So I was writing a bunch of songs which sounded very, let's say, John Mayer-ish. And then there were tunes which were like, again, Super Pain of Salvation, DT, proggy stuff. And, I couldn't figure out that where was all of this fitting. And, I did a lot of thinking. I sat down literally for 4 hours, just thinking that, what exactly am I trying to do here, And then, I had this beautiful realization that this is all who I am. I love the John Mayer, Maro, that kind of stuff, as well as, the prog stuff. And I also love, ghazals. I love poetry. And I realized that, there is no point holding back any of that, So, and wo karte, that just thought kind of progressed into this idea then I had of, an album. And it almost like, I kept thinking, and I started making notes. And all of this kind of led to an entire concept album. And this is just 4 hours of just sitting with yourself on the couch, sipping a cup of coffee and thinking.
Nice.
And randomly, all those songs just fit in. And, so it's one of those eureka moments that you have that you can't explain. And all of it just suddenly made a lot of sense in my head. I was like, okay, this works. This is the story. And suddenly I had like a 12-song concept album written in my head, out of which like 6 songs were already made, and the rest 6 I knew what they were. Like I kind of knew that, the first track has to be, the second track has to be like a punk rock vibe, a very happy. So I hadn't even started writing the song or the lyrics, but in my head I knew what it was, just because, that concept came to me somehow. And so, I had concepts for 6 songs, and then writing those away was like a beautiful journey, because now I knew what I was going to do. I in fact, jotted down like keywords on an Excel sheet that, okay, this sounds like, punk rock with a free kitchen vibe, with, like a happy vibe and, let's say funny lyrics, stuff like that. So for every song I had those keywords. And when I actually sat down to write those songs, I knew where I was headed. So, it's the first time I've done something like this. So I'm very excited about it. And So that's how, the entire thing came out, and then we started recording, mixing, mastering. You know the process, right? It takes
Yeah.
so much of back and forth.
Absolutely.
So Sab Ki Kahani is pretty much the first new song that we've put out. Although we released Karwa last year, which is also going to be a part of the album. And then, this song Sab Ki Kahani had this concept of a character, who's taken that leap of faith to kind of, follow their dream, passion, or whatever.
Yeah.
As cliche as that sounds, but and he's tasted a little bit of that success. And on the path, then he develops this certain kind of ego, all the conviction that he had in himself turns into ego, and he starts giving, gyan to the world. So that's where this song is at. So there is a little bit of satire in the lyrics. There's also a message, but it's coming from that place. So in isolation, the song is working pretty well. But once you hear it as a part of the entire album, it'll make a lot more sense. So I'm very, very excited to put all of this out.
Yeah, I think the song by itself is, as I said, it's a very relatable song to everybody who's been through any avenues of life. I think you tend to learn and you tend to evolve, and it's such a happy-go-lucky video where the guy is just in his room chilling out. I've played the song to a couple of my friends here in Australia, and everybody seems to like it. It's got that very commercial, filmy, Bollywood sort of a vibe, which is very good. It appeals to the masses. As you said, you've got to have that perfect blend of prog versus crowd pleasers as well.
I'll be very honest though.
Yeah.
Sorry, but my thinking about this has changed a lot. So when we started out, I remember, and I also digressed in one of the previous questions that you asked, but I wanted to talk about this a lot, that when we started out, we had this very clear idea in our head that we were trying to bring a very, let's say, proggy sound to contemporary Indian music, but still keeping it palatable. Those were the kind of keywords we had in our heads. And over time, with the second album, there was a phase where, I was trying to figure out that, hey, maybe our stuff is a little too edgy, but this is not working out. I saw a lot of bands getting successful with, like a little more poppy stuff. But and then for a couple of songs we actually tried to do that intentionally, and I thought that those songs would work really well because this is the sound of today, and this and while we were releasing them, I thought these are like fantastic songs, everyone will love them, they've got that commercial mass appeal, all of that, but they didn't work. And what worked were songs like Quest and Kaisi Hai Jeet, which were which were coming from a very, very honest, organic place. So it was such a beautiful learning that I had. And I realized this happened over a period of 3-4 years, of course. And I realized that, the stuff that you write with all your honesty and, which come from a very, very, like organic place, tend to connect better with the people out there than when you try to make them intentionally commercial or whatever. At least that's how it's been for us. So with these new songs, there is absolutely no thought. In fact, I'm like thinking that I'm gonna write what I love writing. I don't care if it sounds commercial. I don't care if it sounds too proggy, too niche. That's the thought. So there is absolutely no thought of whether it works for the audience. Is it commercial enough? Is it Bollywoody enough? Is it sync worthy or not?
That's a very good point, because I think being true to yourself is all that matters in the end. If it's coming from your heart,
right,
you'll be happy with it, and the people will be happy with it as well, the end product. So I think that's a very good point you make. What I loved about the song was obviously the solo. Let's talk about the solo in there. That is an incredible solo. I think first time I heard it, I knew it was Srikanth playing it, and I reached out to him on Instagram. I was like, bro, you gotta make me a tutorial for this one. And I just put out the cover for that today, and I've been trying to get up to speed with it. I think he's done a fantastic job. I'll play the solo here for you guys so that you can listen to it as well.
It was recorded right here in the studio, and I distinctly remember this. So the intent was that we were trying to find figure out the end of the song, and there's another song called Nakis after this, which is gonna be a part of the album. And like this, one of the standard things we wanted to do was move the song to the key of the next song. So we did like a key change, and we thought, okay, why don't we try and do that? It'll blend in so well. And then for the solo, Shrikant was sitting here, and he just did like an improvisational take. Like he just like literally improvised over it, and that was it. And we thought, okay, we'll come back to it. This is just, it's a good idea. We'll come back to it. And then we came back to it, and we retained 70% of that solo.
That's what happens, I think, when I do my jam videos as well. I think the first take is the best take always. It might have some mistakes, but the other takes will never be as good as the first take. I've always seen that.
Yeah.
I think Shrikant's playing is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, he's
man.
phenomenal.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, and I've never had the pleasure of sitting and jamming with him. I think I met him once before in one of the gigs,
Right.
but never had like the pleasure of jamming with him. Sounds like a fantastic player, man. I've seen his clips, and I think you first told me that he also was very influenced by Petrucci's playing as well. He used to play some Petrucci covers from his first album, Suspended Animation, I think. Yeah. Fantastic player.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of playing, I think I see that most of you guys are using Strandbergs now, both of you guys, right?
Yes.
What happened to the Majesty?
No, I still have the Majesty, man. I think Shrikant almost baited me into it. So he got like a Strandberg first. And
like I baited you for the Ernie ball.
So literally, and then while we were touring a lot, like it just is easier if you have a guitar which is not so heavy on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And his guitar almost looked like, the cover looked like he was carrying a violin. And it was crazy that it was so light, and it's a beautiful guitar. It's it's
Absolutely.
so, and Majesty is fantastic for high gain stuff, but when I tried the Strandbergs, I realized that they were somewhere in the middle, and they had like a lot more flexibility. So that's how I got baited into it. I thought, and I was playing a lot of heavy stuff, so I bought like a 7-string first, and then I realized, hey man, it's and then yeah, I mean overkill. And again, for live, at least for all of our songs, I don't need the 7-string except for a couple of songs.
7-string.
So then eventually I ended up buying the 6-string, and it's a fantastic guitar.
I've tried a Strandberg in Melbourne Guitar Show here. The first thing that I played the Pliny signature one, I guess they had it up on the wall.
Yeah.
Fantastic guitar.
Yeah.
It sounded so good, and the playability, because of that peculiar neck shape, is so awesome, because it's got that D-shaped neck. It's so unique, and first you feel like it's going to be really uncomfortable, but then when you start playing it just fits in so well, and it's so light, it's so ergonomic, so easy to sit with. I don't know, I've got a budget headless guitar here with me from Artist series. It's the Artist guitars here in Australia, but even that still feels very lightweight. Fantastic guitar. I just bought it for like $300. But yeah, the Strandbergs are amazing. So you still carry your Majesty with you when you go for gigs, or you just keep it at home mostly?
At least last few months, I've like only been playing the Majesty at home. I've been only playing the Strandberg live. Again, simply because it's just so easy and comfortable to lug around. And when you do travel a lot, it does become like an important bit, right? So yeah.
I'll send you my address, man. Send me the Majesty.
Come and take it.
Always,
your India
like
trip is due.
So expensive here, man. I mean, I think Ernie Ball JP series are like easily going for 6,000, 7,000 Australian dollars. That's just crazy expensive. And I even saw a Majesty for like 10,000 Australian dollars.
Wow.
There. Obviously, it's a limited run, but I mean, the prices are insane. Like, what are we supposed to do, man? Like,
Yeah, the
and
majesties have
now,
like
like,
really gone steep. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, talking to the other spectrum of gear, what gear are you using for your sound and effects? Are you using the AX8 still? Because I know you were playing that earlier, or you shifted to different something else now.
I bought the Quad Cortex a couple of years ago.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I have the AX8 and the Quad Cortex. So I'm using both of them actually right now. So, but because I have like gone so deep into the Neural DSP ecosystem with all the plugins, I pretty much have all of them. And now that
Oh, nice.
now they're like most of them are like now also coming to be a part of the Quad Cortex. They're doing the
Oh, really? Okay.
portability thing. So Pliny is already there. There's Gojira, Cory Wong as well. So now more and more
Nice.
of those plugins are now being ported to the flow unit. So it makes
Yeah.
all the more
Have you
sense. Yeah.
have you checked out the AM4, which is the new Fractal
I
product? It just
I
came out like
yeah,
2
I
days back.
did. I did. It's based on the
Looks good,
Axif
no?
X3. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Although
Yeah.
I personally felt that again it's you need at least like 8 foot switches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So w- I'm actually quite interested to see what they do of the if they bring in an upgrade for the AX8. They probably won't because I guess there is FM9.
Oh.
So yeah.
FM9 is the
Yeah,
upgrade.
FM9
Yeah.
is fantastic. Like the
Yeah, it's
fractal
very good.
stuff is just you can do so much with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still stuck with the Axif X2 here, and there are. I mean, it's only once in like a blue moon you will see a Fractal product for sale on
Yeah.
marketplace.
Yeah.
It's usually the older versions just selling, so it's really hard to buy, and the waiting list is always like very huge.
Oh, wow.
And it's quite expensive, to be honest.
Hmm.
Like for my channel, I think the Axif X2 works better because everybody who's selling their Axif X2, somebody is buying them,
Yeah.
and that person then probably stumbles upon my channel, hopefully, and
Right.
gets some help. Maybe that's the
And
idea.
these are such
But
solid
yeah,
units, yeah. Like
Yeah.
the AX8 still sounds as good, which is based on the Axif
it's
X2,
very good.
right? It still sounds as fantastic as ever. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Fractal is doing amazing, man. But speaking of that, I mean, even the other brands like the Neural DSP stuff is also very, very good now. I mean, lots of artists are going on that platform,
Yeah.
and I'm not a plugin fan guy because I don't like the whole iLock key system.
Yeah.
I usually want my software to be just installed and I just plug and play.
Got it.
But it's got its complications. But I've tried the John Petrucci Neural DSP plugin. Yeah, as I said, the Fractal stuff is way too advanced and way too nice for me to
Nice.
give up that. Anyways, enough talk about. So Shrikant is also playing something Neural DSP, or is he playing something else as well?
He's currently using the Hot Tone Emperos. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
he'd also bought like a Quad Cortex, but I think now he's using the again it's this much like and he gigs a lot more than I do. He plays with
Yeah.
multiple bands, so he travels like literally 15, 17, 20 days a month. So and if you like then how compact the units are, it really starts to make a difference, and if they're sounding good, then yeah. So
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, it's probably close to the end of the year. When are your plans to release the full album next year sometime? Or?
so the idea is to put out a song every month. So the next song called Udan is releasing now, and I guess we were speaking by the time this video is out, it'll already be out. December 4th is the date for that. And then like Jan, Feb, March, again back-to-back songs, and we likelihood to put out the entire album in May. So
Nice.
yeah,
And
that's the
I've
plan.
heard some rumors about some special guest appearances as well this time around. Last time you had Mr. Marty Friedman play on one of your tracks. That's like, I don't know how you managed to pull that off. Just amazing. But yeah, don't tell us the name. Don't spoil it for us. But yeah, is it a prog-based player? Is it a what kind of genre does the player play?
Yeah, I've like again been very fortunate to have some of my favorite musicians and guitar idols playing on the songs. So there's someone who plays prog. There's a guy who plays a lot of fusion rock prog. I've also got like a couple of Hindustani classical musicians.
Nice.
Yes, and they're pretty fantastic as well. So yeah, by the time we do the next video, I'm gonna, we catch up again. I'm gonna share all the names, and hopefully the songs will be out by then as well. But yeah, like been very very fortunate to have these fantastic players on the new album, and I just can't wait to see what people think of the songs.
How's the gigging scene like nowadays? Is it still seasonal? Like you have, hot seasons, and then you have like a small lull period, and then you have more, or is the wedding seasons also catching up with more rock type of music as well, or how has it changed over the
Broadly,
years?
it's pretty much the same. The summers are still kind of like where the lull period is. I would say May to August, or sometimes not actually May to August. These days, it's only like July, August. So yeah, I mean, as I was mentioning, the pie has grown so much.
Yeah.
So there are more number of events happening, and the seasons have also kind of gotten extended. So earlier March would be end of the season here,
Yeah.
but now it almost goes up to May,
Wow.
and only like the June, July, August, which are like super dry and rainy. Like June is super rainy and then dry, and then July, August are the monsoon periods. Only
Yeah.
those 3 months are kind of lean, but yeah. I mean, sometimes you feel that, we're just very, very fortunate to be here in India, because I don't see this kind of an opportunity out in a lot of countries, especially in like the more
Yeah.
developed countries. So we're very, very privileged and very, very fortunate, lucky here to be, doing music in this time.
But I also need to call out the fact that it's really, really. I mean, obviously, a lot of talent goes into making the music, but behind the scenes, there is so much, so many other things like staying in a metropolitan city like New Delhi. I mean, I've been there. I know there's so much traffic. There's so many other variables at play. I mean, if you think yourself as a full-time person who's also working on the side, it becomes nearly next to impossible to pursue a dream like this, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's possible anymore. I believe that, when you're starting out, you can do that. You can do two things and, see where it goes. And, but I don't think beyond a point you can do both of them and then do justice. Earlier on, I remember like, most of these decisions were generally just a leap of faith, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of uncertainty and you can never be sure. And sometimes you just take the plunge. But now when I think of it, or when, let's say, people who are 19, 20, 22, they ask me if, how should we go about it? Should we just quit our jobs and do this full time? Earlier on I would say, okay, yeah, you can't be doing two things. You have to, like, dig down deep, and only then you will be able to, like, make something happen. But now I kind of feel that one should, try and do, like, one should keep their day job and, pursue this for a few years, until it becomes like so big that you can actually quit. Also, what I've also realized is that it's not meant for everyone. Everyone is not cut out for
Yeah.
it. People have very different situations, very different, goals, ambitions, ideas of life, right? And I feel that when you do that in those first 3, 4, 5 years, you kind of learn that whether you enjoy that uncertainty, can you handle it, is your situation allowing you to handle it. And a lot, it teaches you a lot about yourself. And I think, there's nothing written in stone, like, you can do.
Yeah, but there's a very big factor of ROI as well, right? How much you are investing into
Yeah.
it. And back in the day, the ROI used to be not that great, if I remember
Correct,
right.
correct. You have to be
The
stupid to be doing
return,
it. Like,
yeah,
there's just no
yeah,
doubt about that. You have to be a little
yeah,
stupid, a little crazy, and maybe just, I don't know, too much in love with the idea of being a musician and living the life of a musician. Like, otherwise, practically it doesn't make a lot of sense. At least
So I
back
think
then.
it's the
Back.
yeah, I think the better advice probably still would be, if I think about it, is that have something in the start,
Yeah.
save up a good amount of capital, and then probably venture into something which is your dream or pursue your ambitions as such. Because I think in this industry, even in today's world, also initially find, I don't know about the scene now, but when we were playing, finding gigs which are well paying, which can support the band, and gear is super expensive, traveling is super expensive, fuel is expensive. There are so many corners to cut,
Yeah.
that I think if we don't find well paying gigs or well paying avenues in the beginning, it becomes really hard. So I
But
think
it's
having a good
also
capital.
sorry, but I also feel that it's not gonna happen. Also, right? In the first few years, they're always like there's a gestation period. For the
Yeah,
first few years, you'll keep putting in the work, and you will not see any return, and then suddenly like something will work, and it's never a linear graph, right? It'll be like flat, and then there'll be like a little
yeah,
bit of bump again.
a
It'll
spike.
go flat. So I feel if one can actually have something that pays their bills, or while the line is flat, it helps. And then the other thing is, there are some people who are just born to be doing this. They know it inside, right? For us, it was like we come from a very different background. Like we've been doing corporate jobs. Both of us studied like from fairly good institutes and all of that. So we had careers which would have like a much better progression than pursuing music. So
Yeah.
then it becomes like a challenging call to make, that whether you do this or not. But I guess there is no right answer. You just know it, and probably,
Exactly.
yeah,
You have, it's still a leap of faith,
it
but I
is
think the avenues are much better now
100%.
because as the music's more acceptable, the masses are leaning towards the kind of music you want to write and listen to,
Yeah,
and you have so many more platforms now. Earlier, you used to chase labels to get your album out, but now you can just put an album out on Spotify yourself. It's not a big deal.
correct.
It's easy. Anybody with some basic computer knowledge can do it, which is a good thing, right? It works well, but it also adds to the challenge of marketing it and getting it out to the masses and making people hear your music. That's where the gigs kind of come
Yeah.
in. Yeah, so I mean, it's either way a tough road, and it's as I said, I feel very proud that you guys are doing it great. You're having gigs, you're making music, putting out the stuff which I think is getting you the clicks and the shows. And I wish you guys all the best, man. More international tours. Come down to Australia,
Thank you,
and
bro.
it'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I mean, I've heard like so many fantastic bands based out of Australia. We,
Yeah,
I earlier didn't know that there was such a cool scene in Australia as well. So yeah,
it is changing now.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Indian people here as well. A lot of people that appreciate different cultures of music as well. It's a very multicultural society, so all sorts of music is very well appreciated.
Got it.
And I mean, there are bands coming and going from here. Like AC/DC was here a few days back. Metallica was here. Dream Theater is coming next year.
Lovely.
It's just fantastic, man. It's like so good to see Metallica. I mean, although I was far away,
Yeah.
but standing for 4 hours listening to all the favorite songs being played at blasting loud volume is just amazing. That feeling is like none other, man. I mean, I remember we had a Metallica concert in India, but it got cancelled, and it was such a big letdown. I think, yeah, but seeing them here was really good, man. Yeah, so I think pretty much sums up what I wanted to discuss with you. I think it's a great road ahead for Antariksh, man. I mean, keep at it and keep sending me more music.
Of course, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's always and always lovely catching up and just talking about the good old times as well as like sharing all the new music with you. Like every time I write something, I make it a point to send it to you and Mridul, because for me, that's what Antariksh was. Uh,
Yeah.
and those first couple of beautiful years spent with you guys, writing, recording, playing, still like some of the most golden memories I have. So yeah.
You won't believe it. I still play Dheere Dheere on YouTube to people when I tell them I was in a band. The first track I play them was Dheere Dheere because I think that song was epic. It was just probably the best song we guys wrote together. But my favorite is always Or from that album, which is such a refreshing change of pace in terms of the progginess, and I think Mridul did a fantastic job on that one.
Again,
it's really good.
he's another beast. Yeah, I wish that we hear more from him. He gets back to writing some music. He's incredible.
He's busy now with family. Yeah, that's what happens, and once you have family, then things change quite a lot. Same for me. I mean, I barely get time to do my YouTube. I'm like, I used to do one video every 2 weeks. Now it's one video every month because my son is growing up. There are multiple responsibilities at home, and you just never find the time. Yeah.
No, but you're doing fantastic.
You, man. You're doing
like I love your videos. I love the stuff that you do.
Thanks,
it's so beautifully produced. Like it just looks fantastic, and you're playing so much. I keep seeing your cover videos as well. So all the best.
Thanks,
and
man.
thank you for having me, and thank you for taking the time out to catch up.